Explain terminologies: attack, threat, vulnerability, countermeasure. Understanding cybersecurity terminology: attack, threat, vulnerability, and countermeasures. In the field of cybersecurity, different terminology is used to describe different aspects of the security landscape. It is important to understand these terms to effectively manage and mitigate cyber risks. In this comprehensive explanation, we will highlight the definitions, relationships, and importance of 4 key cybersecurity terms: attack, threat, vulnerability, and countermeasures. 1. Attack. An attack in cybersecurity refers to any intentional or malicious action taken by an adversary or threat actor with the intent to compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of an information, system, or network. Cyber attacks come in various forms and can target individuals, organizations, governments, or even entire nations. Common types of cyber attacks include malware infections, phishing scams, denial of service, DOS attacks, ransomware attacks, and insider threats. Types of attacks: malware attacks. Malware, short for malicious software, is software designed to infiltrate or cause damage to a computer system without the owner's consent. Examples of malware include viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, spyware, and adware. Phishing attacks. Phishing attacks involve the use of fraudulent emails, messages, or websites to trick individuals into providing sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and financial details. Phishing is often used for identity theft, fraud, and espionage purposes. Denial of service, DOS attacks. DOS attacks aim to disrupt the normal functioning of a computer system, network, or website by flooding it with illegal traffic or requests. Distributed denial of service, DOS attacks involve multiple compromised devices, botnets, coordinated to launch an attack. Ransomware attacks. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts files or locks computer systems, making them inaccessible to users. Attackers demand a ransom in exchange for restoring access to affected data or systems. Insider threats. Insider threats occur when individuals within an organization abuse their access privileges to steal sensitive information, sabotage systems, or disrupt operations. Insider threats can be intentional, malicious insiders, or unintentional, negligent insiders. Impact of attacks. Cyber attacks can have devastating consequences on individuals, organizations, and society as a whole. The impact of an attack depends on various factors, including the type of attack, the vulnerabilities of the target, and the intentions of the attacker. Common consequences of cyber attacks include financial losses, reputational damage, legal liabilities, operational disruptions, and compromised privacy. 2. Threat. Threat in cybersecurity refers to any potential threat or risk that can exploit vulnerabilities and cause harm to information, systems, or networks. Threats can take many forms, ranging from natural disasters and human errors to deliberate malicious actions by threat actors. Understanding and identifying threats is essential to assessing cyber risks and implementing appropriate security measures to mitigate them. Types of threats. External threats. External threats originate from outside the organization and include malicious actors such as hackers, cybercriminals, nation-state actors, and hacktivists. External threats can target an organization's networks, systems, applications, or users with the intent to steal data, disrupt operations, or cause financial loss. Internal threats. Internal threats originate from within the organization and include employees, contractors, or business partners who abuse their privileges or inadvertently compromise security. Internal threats can include insider threats, careless employees, disgruntled employees, or accidental data breaches. Natural hazards. Natural hazards refer to events or phenomena beyond human control, such as natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, storms, environmental hazards, fires, power outages, or other catastrophic events that can disrupt operations and can damage the structure. Emerging threats. Emerging threats are new or emerging risks that pose emerging challenges to cybersecurity. Examples of emerging threats include zero-day vulnerabilities, advanced persistent threats, APTs, ransomware as a service, RAS, Internet of Things, IoT, botnets, and supply chain attacks. Minimizing hazards. Mitigating threats requires a proactive and multi-layered approach to cybersecurity, encompassing various preventive, detective, and corrective measures. Effective threat mitigation strategies include risk assessment, vulnerability management, security awareness training, intrusion detection and prevention systems, IDPS, incident response planning, and continuous monitoring of network traffic and system logs. 3. Vulnerability. Vulnerability in cybersecurity refers to a weakness or flaw in a system, network, application, or process that can be used by attackers to compromise security, bypass controls, or cause damage. Vulnerabilities can exist at any layer of the technology stack and may result from software bugs, misconfigurations, design flaws, or inadequate security controls. Types of weaknesses. Software vulnerabilities. Software vulnerabilities are flaws or weaknesses in software applications, operating systems, libraries, or firmware that can be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access, execute arbitrary code, or disrupt normal operations. Common types of software vulnerabilities include buffer overflows, injection faults, authentication bypasses, and insecure cryptographic implementations. Network vulnerabilities. Network vulnerabilities are weaknesses in network infrastructure, protocols, or configuration that can be exploited to gain unauthorized access, intercept sensitive data, or disrupt communications. Examples of network vulnerabilities include misconfigured firewalls, unpatched routers, weak encryption protocols, and open ports. Human vulnerabilities. Human vulnerabilities refer to vulnerabilities or errors introduced by human users, such as employees, contractors, or third-party vendors. Human vulnerabilities can include weak passwords, social engineering attacks, phishing scams, careless handling of sensitive information, and lack of security awareness. Physical vulnerabilities. Physical vulnerabilities relate to weaknesses in physical security measures, facilities, or assets that can be used to gain unauthorized access, steal equipment, or disrupt operations. Examples of physical vulnerabilities include unsecured access points, inadequate monitoring, lack of environmental controls, and unsecured equipment. Management of vulnerabilities. Vulnerability management involves identifying, prioritizing, and resolving security vulnerabilities to reduce the risk of exploitation by attackers. Vulnerability management includes activities such as vulnerability scanning, patch management, configuration management, penetration testing, and security control validation. Organizations must establish robust processes and procedures to identify, assess, and mitigate vulnerabilities on an ongoing basis to maintain a strong security posture. 4. Countermeasures. Countermeasures in cybersecurity refers to any preventive, detective, or corrective action taken to reduce risks, defend against attacks, and protect information, systems, or networks from security threats. Countermeasures are designed to address specific vulnerabilities, threats, or attack vectors and may include technical controls, administrative policies, and security best practices. Types of retribution. Preventive countermeasures. Preventive countermeasures aim to prevent security incidents by proactively addressing vulnerabilities and stopping potential threats before vulnerabilities can be exploited. Examples of preventive countermeasures include access controls, encryption, firewalls, intrusion prevention systems, IPS, application whitelisting, and security awareness training. Espionage countermeasures. Espionage countermeasures focus on detecting and alerting organizations when security incidents or suspicious activities occur. Counter-espionage measures include intrusion detection systems, IDS, security information and event management, SIEM, systems, log monitoring and analysis, anomaly detection, and penetration testing. Corrective countermeasures. Corrective countermeasures involve responding to security incidents, breaches, or vulnerabilities by implementing remedial actions to mitigate the impact and prevent recurrence. Corrective response measures may include incident response planning, incident investigation and analysis, system restoration, malware removal, and security policy updates. Compensating countermeasures. Compensating countermeasures are alternative security controls that are implemented to reduce risks when primary controls are unavailable or ineffective. Compensatory measures may include additional security layers, redundancies, fallback procedures, or alternative security solutions to address specific threats or vulnerabilities. Applying countermeasures. Implementing effective countermeasures requires a comprehensive understanding of security risks, threats, and vulnerabilities, as well as the selection and deployment of appropriate security controls and measures. Organizations should develop risk-based security strategies that prioritize countermeasures based on the likelihood and potential impact of security incidents. Regular assessment, testing, and adaptation of countermeasures is essential to maintaining an adaptive and flexible security posture in the face of emerging cyber threats.